You are now in the pre-show. Say hello with your bonus material.
Hey, y'all! This is our bonus material time. We don't get the clock officially started usually until 7:30. So what you hear now is not scripted like most of what we do here in the Wright Report. So I'm not formally kicking it off. Not gonna do my normal intro yet, but whoever's out there, I'm glad you're tuning in. And if you're tuning in already, you tune in early, and I really appreciate that because a lot of people don't even tune in. So if you tune in early, that's a bonus for me, and thank you. If you are, if this is your first time, welcome to the Wright Report, Edutainment for the community. If you're one of the regulars, and what we're about to get into, and tonight is going to be really different. A lot of things have gone on that we need to discuss, and some things we need to talk about, chop it up.
All right, I'm going to start the timer.
Well, I thought we were starting at 7:30.
Oh, okay, we can do
Please,
that.
yeah, please
We can
don't
do
start.
that.
Yeah, give me a few minutes to.
Yeah, take your time.
Yeah. Let's do 7:30. Where I'm gonna hit the official start. I say today's gonna be a little different, man. As you will discover by my demeanor and some things man, most things you can't fake if you don't want to be fake. So tonight is a little different for me. It's a little different for a lot of people. I'm not gonna put that on me. Like, I'm all that in a bag of chips, but my whole community, segments of this country and the world, we lost a couple of giants, and they were all in some way or shape connected and part of me and definitely part of the struggle, that we all should be coalescing around instead of fighting each other against. I just don't know. I know it's a good job done, and you're gonna hear something tonight that's gonna hip you to what I know's been going on, and what maybe that's what the edutainment part is. I sit down, I get this material, and I digest it, and I put it out for us so in a digestible fashion so that we could be on at least on the same page. Because if we ain't in the same boat, most of us not, we all in the same storm. So if we don't learn to navigate this storm together, regardless of what boat you in, you're going to drown, you're going to sink. It's going to be over. So I'll be so happy when we get to that part, when people start to really recognize that. Yeah, but it's been a rough one, man. We lost some giants. I'm gonna start this officially at 7:30 because I've been telling before we told them 7:30. We had some technical difficulties. This is live. This is from Think Twice Radio. Where if you think twice, you think right, and if you think right, you can't do nothing but think right. Report. Entertainment for the community, man. I'm here. I'm vested up today with the People's Campaign for Parole Justice. Can't find my rap shirt. I don't even think rap gave me a shirt, so I want my rap new edition 2026. Once I could throw that on, and this is this is one of the things that we got on the agenda to fight for incessantly and until victory, and that's freedom of our brothers and sisters who being held down by the parole system that is not only inefficient and inept, it is designed to turn our elders into ancestors, and I ain't with that, as I know most of you are not. And so this term, I don't know, man. These bills, that's just another story, and I really don't want to go there now because I'm really feeling another direction.
Wow.
Wow.
I just got the stats from your last show.
And how much was that?
176 viewers.
On the last one, that was a bad week. We ain't up with that 350 before, but we 176. Thank y'all, man. I believe me. I know that every number count because I know that each one of you that tune in and listen, even if you family or not, you connected to somebody else. You know, it's like if you could save one. And I used to abhor that term because I always want to save everybody, but saving one attributes to the saving of another because that one is invariably connected to somebody or something else. Ha ha ha. Love is love, man. You know, man. That's my son. And yeah, man, the prodigal son right about now. What's up, bro? Thanks, man. Yeah, we had 176 viewers on that 10:30 slow night. I mean, a lot of people might be home tonight, being it's a Tuesday before Thanksgiving, getting them peas, tomatoes to potatoes, corn, yeah, pies. You know what we gonna eat. Thanks for tuning in, son. Yeah, we gotta chop it up. You'll see from the night if you hang around a bit what's going on and why my life has been. I'm gonna share my life with everybody, man. Like that's what we supposed to be doing. But thanks for tuning in, man. I hope you told somebody else, brought somebody along. I gotta tell you, we don't do this for ratings, but I'm not gonna sit here in front that numbers determine how many people that you get to impact, but it also determines, how much exposure you can have people to the type of stuff that we talking about and to this movement we talking about. Yeah, of course, son. Always, always, always. That's why I call you the prodigal, man. That's biblical. But yeah, we about to go on the air. We about to hit it. Let's hit it. Let me start this thing
Here
off
we
the
go.
way it's supposed to.
7:30. Shall we?
Yes, hit it.
Okay, when this is on the air, you're officially on the air.
On the air, man. This is the official. If you was on a little earlier, like my son, me chopping it up, I saw Pastor Clark and his son today in a warm and loving father-son embrace, and now you jump on tonight. That brought tears to my eyes watching them. I remember Imani when he was a kid with my son being junior deacons, grown man with a wife, and seeing them raptured together, man, was cipher. So good evening. I'm sorry. So y'all don't know, this is the Wright Report. My name is Jerome, all right, but our title is Edutainment for the Community. This is the news you can use. This is facts and figures to help us to coalesce around a movement of change, man, because change gonna come, but it ain't gonna come without us forcing it. And in order to force it, we need to coalesce around a few things. And I think we got some things that we could coalesce around, regardless of whatever the things that they try to say divide us. And that's what we try to do. That's what we do in the Wright Report. But let me tell you something. First of all, the Wright Report is sponsored and shown from Think Twice Radio, the house of the future, the home of the future. With my boy over there on the ones and twos, engineer, production assistant, you name it, he do it. And that's how we come to you through Think Twice Radio, his baby. And we ride along with the Think Twice Radio because this is the home of the future. And what we talking about is a movement that's made for the future. So thank you for tuning in. I'm conflicted tonight. This has been a very rough time for myself personally, but for this whole region, this country, this world, really. And I'm not talking about that national drama, that hypocrisy that's going on in Washington and everywhere else. I'm talking about what happened there. Good evening, my first and best cousin there. What's up, boo-boo? How are you? It's the Bionic. I don't feel all that bionic tonight. I feel really mortal tonight. And I'm going to share that with you. We lost some giants. I would like to talk about all the stuff that's going on, but we lost some brothers who were part of that movement. I mean, this movement for social justice, for human dignity, for human rights, I forget the civil rights, is arduous, And you need people to come alongside you that's committed, and not just in word and not just in showing up, man. Because sometimes, like they say, you got to encourage yourself. Sometimes you got to put in some work yourself. Because believe me, somebody put in some work before you, and I'm really, let me talk about. So this weekend we lost 3 giants, none bigger than Bishop and my pastor, Troy Anthony Bronner from Elam Christian Fellowship, founder, senior pastor. Listen, y'all maybe don't even understand this. Maybe you Google him up, look him up. But I was tutored, was under his tutelage for the last 16 plus years of my release, and I can attribute my spiritual growth and maturity to that man and his ministry, that church and that family. And not only will he be sorely missed, but some things, most things of that stature are irreplaceable. And when we talk about social justice and fighting, this is a man who preached us that, we believe in Christ, and we pray on our knees. But we stand on our feet because the God that we serve and we follow is a God of justice and righteousness. That's what he taught. That's what he embodied. If it wasn't just and righteous, then we stood up against it. And when we wasn't standing up against this, we was praying for our own souls, for the souls of our brethren, for the souls of this nation. Good evening, Auntie. It's rough, man, because when you lose somebody, that's the only church I've ever known. The only pastor that I've ever served under. Ordained my diaconate there. My son and myself became, a history as the only father and son deacons in the church. We really quickly. This is a man who preached so well, taught so well, led so well, that the way I came to his church is that another man invited me and my family, a man that didn't know me from a can of latex enamel paint. And God was so anointed in this, is that the man who invited us was my parole officer, former parole officer Kelly Funderburg, who was a member of Elam Christian Fellowship. Now, I don't know y'all, I'm glad none of y'all ain't been on parole and know how that thing work, but last place your PO, as we call him, wanted to see you, was in the pew next to him. But he got to see you and take you and all this. That ain't what the average parole officer does. But a man who, like myself, was under Bishop Bronner's tutelage, under his leadership and guidance, extended that invitation and probably saved me my life. Grounded me from the moment I came out of the belly of that beast. Spiritually grounded me in a way that I can sit before you now and say, though I miss him, I will be forever indebted and impacted by his presence in my life. And I promise you, man, that what he taught me, I will emulate and it will live. He will live through me. And we lost him this weekend. As a matter of fact, today was the final homegoing service, which was immaculate as it should be. It was otherworldly, because this man was really anointed and otherworldly. I mean, oh man, to God be the glory that I had that time to see. You know what? And I'm gonna say this, and not only did I worship under him, but we had a mortal human relationship, a man-to-man relationship. It wasn't like, he craved mentorship and man steel, sharpening steel, and did not allow his episcopacy to, supersede that. That he was a man and he needed, men companionship and conversation, and he. So more than the pastor, man. More than the pastor. And this whole region, we mourning because when you lose somebody like that, so vibrant, so powerful, so young, it's shocking to your spirit. So we lost Bishop Bronner, who supported me. Let me say this for the record. I know I ain't know him since he came here from Philly, and I wasn't, in that other circles, but everything about social justice, about criminal justice reform, anything about human rights that I advanced to Bishop Bronner, he made it not only a priority, he made it a reality. From a replica cell in the narthex to a audience full of young people with Yusuf Salam and other dignitaries, to classes, a demand program, and to just a week almost to his passing, being at the press conference, opening the press conference for the Journey to Justice bus tour, which was lodged at Elam Christian Fellowship Church. And when he came to do the thing, I said, you look like you're tired. I mean, you don't have to do this. We're going to kick this off and represent you like, man, justice and righteousness, right? So that's what we do. And he gave the opening prayer, and we lost a giant in physical, but that ministry is going to outlive many of us who are still here. And thank you, Bishop Bronner, for that. And thank you, God, for blessing us with this man. A man after your own heart. Job well done, good and faithful servant, Bishop T. Anthony Bronner, senior pastor, founder, Elam Christian Fellowship Church, a place of refreshing. Yeah. And if that wasn't bad enough, we lost this weekend Chuck Colhane. And they don't build them like Chuck no more. If to know Chuck, you would know they don't build them like that. It's like that Model T that's out of nobody, but that they don't build them like that no more. And he went on to glory this weekend as well. Chuck went from death row, to standing up for people all over the country on death row, to standing in front of the holding center every Wednesday for as long as I've been free in this society, as much as you can call yourself free, standing in front of that holding center protesting the brutality, the racism, the abuse, the financial ruin that place cause with no return but recidivism. And he stood out there, rain, sleet, cold, hail, you name it. And the fact of the matter, what was Chuck? Like 5'6", if he had on some heels or something. small in stature, heart large as the day is long, and committed. People go through that belly of the beast and come out and try to forget, act like they forget, and I'm not questioning anybody's motives, because you gotta live your life and I got to live mine. But to forget and just walk away like that never happened, to me, that's too much trauma to carry around. If you don't do something about the wrong that's been done to you, then why would you ask somebody else to do something about the wrong that's being done to you? I'm telling you, man, let's take a listen.
Every time I speak, I want the truth to come out. You know what I'm saying? Every time I speak, I want to shiver. I don't want them to be like, they know what I'm going to say because it's polite. They know what I'm going to say. And even if I get in trouble, you know what I'm saying? Ain't that what we're supposed to do? I'm not saying I'm going to rule the world or I'm going to change the world, but I guarantee that I will spark the brain that will change the world. And that's our job, is to spark somebody else watching us. We might not be the ones, but let's not be selfish, and because we're not going to change the world, let's not talk about how we should change it. I don't know how to change it, but I know if I keep talking about how dirty it is out here, somebody going to clean it up.
Yeah, how dirty it is out here in there. Immortal words from my brother, Tupac Shakur. Man, change is going to come. It may not be me, but let my voice spark the brain that's going to make the change, because it's got to come. And, Chuck, for my people. That was me and his house. It was a joke, inside joke. And I was going to give a shout again. For my people. To Charles Chuck Cohen, he's probably the only person who did more time on parole than me that I know, at least in Western New York. I was on there for 13 years, and he 20, 21, I don't know, but that's how much of a rebel he was. They wasn't going to let him be without some type of supervision, because he was about his business of checking them about the injustice and non-righteousness, unrighteousness. I said, Chuck gonna be missed, man. Would you, if nobody showed up, listen to me, if nobody showed up, present company included, Chuck did. If that ain't a testament of his commitment, who he was and what we lost, like, again, I will say it for a third time. If nobody showed up, present company included, Chuck did. We gonna miss you, Chuck. We gonna miss you, bruh. That's why when they talk this racism garbage, Chuck is a little 5'5", 5'6" and a quarter in some high heels, some disco shoes, white man that you would call different. We shared the same principle, cut from the same cloth, with no division there, so we was divided from the BS you try to keep pushing on us. Chuck, warrior, in the face of, see, this is what I'm talking about. Nobody wanted to sacrifice nothing. This man out there on parole, sacrificing freedom, life, 80-something. When you pass, you still, man, miss you, boy. For my people. I can't fake this and just talk about what's going on when we losing warriors, and I ain't seeing nobody ready to just step in. You know, I do have a quote here. It says, when something is important enough, you do it even if the odds are not in your favor. I ain't even gonna credit who said it. But truth is truth and fact is fact. Forget who said it. Crab, lame, racist, you know what. But I'm not one that's going to deny truth because it don't come packaged the way I want it. And that's fact. When something is important enough, you do it even if the odds are not in your favor. How important is what we talking about here to you? Because the odds has never been, it's been 60-40, they favor from the grip, out the womb. And we still here. They not like us. It's not a tagline. It's not a good song. It's a damn fact. They not like us. And when I say not like us, because Chuck is like us. Forget pigmentation, the lie. But what I tell you, before we can be set free, we got to unhinge ourselves for the lies that's kept us hostage. And this lie about race is a bona fide lie. And I dare anybody come on this show, challenge me, show me this race thing. Because I got receipts too. It's a fraud. It's what's pumping here and where you come from here. I don't care if you purple with pink polka dots and come from the dark side of the moon. If you right, then we can rock. Point blank. I watched a video today of kids who were different colors embracing each other with the love that you don't see us ever do. And they never considered race, ethnicity, hair, none of that. It was just human to human interaction and love. Something we don't know how to do no more. Chuck gonna be missed, man, because now when nobody show up, unfortunately, Chuck won't be there. Salute to you, Chuck. So for those who don't know, on December 7th, they're having a memorial service for Chuck. I should have information right here. Somebody who knows, call it in, text it in, something, please. My mind, I'm telling you, my spirit is hurting, but it's not broken. Come from a church that teach you to do that. Disappointments are inevitable, but discouragement is an option. You are, I am, we are going to be disappointed at some point and at multiple points in our life. It is inevitable. But to take that disappointment and turn it into anything other than, let it turn into discouragement. That's a choice. Because it's only an option. Because just like it turns you to that option, the choice of being discouraged, you could turn that into fuel to do something that you know you're supposed to have been done. And I'm not calling you on it. I don't know what you're supposed to have been done, but you know what you've been supposed to have been done. Oh, man. So we don't want these things bad enough, because when we want something bad enough, we could, first of all, man, I'm sorry, I tell you, this has been a rough week. Today is the start of the mass blackout that we're supposed to be enjoying then as a community, especially a black community, African, whatever you let they call you today. Because we answer anything. I was always told it's not what they call you that matters, what you answer to. You can't just call me anything. But it seemed like they call us anything. I can list the names. So whatever they calling you, and you look like me, come from where I come from, melanated, I don't care what language you speak, because we everywhere. When you want something bad enough, we become an economy. Right now, we talking about this mass blackout from today, November 25th to December 2nd. If you have to spend because you're a compulsive shopper, if you have to spend because there are items that you have to have, then don't go to these people that's part of our oppression. Don't give them our money, because when we take our money, when we let our dollars talk for us, it is the strongest thing that everybody listens to. Don't spend. Spend black. Actively black wear. Forget Nike and all the rest of them. Right now, support your own, our own, and take that trillions of dollars of economy that we could be like one of the 7 richest countries in the world and take care of our own. Now, I'm going to be, because it comes with a caveat. Because everywhere that we've been successful on our own, building, they've destroyed. Facts. And if only people know about Tulsa and Rosewood, but there's Detroit, there's Philly, there's a couple of places all over this country. So when people talk about, oh, we just let them have their own, we have our own, y'all, nobody never been good with that but us. Because every time we've done it, every time, we show we ain't need nobody, we can do for us on our own, you come and destroy it. So I unless for this time, where they expect us to prop their businesses and their bottom lines up for the end of the quarter, let's not give them a quarter. Can we do that? Because when I sent it out, people act like they didn't see it, like they didn't know what was going on. And maybe that's because we ain't got the right media, talking about this. But there's a mass blackout. It's a big sign, black and red with M and B, and it stands for November today, 25th to December 2nd. Not spending our hard-earned money with anybody who don't spend their hard-earned money, energy, and time with us, who use us to spend their money somewhere else with somebody else to our detriment. Now, if you can't do that, then you're complicit. And I don't care who's listening, who sees it, you're complicit. So you can complain all you want, but you can't complain in one hand and be complicit in the other. It's just incongruous, that's the word. Look it up. It's incongruous. Don't add up, don't match up, don't look right. Facts. Yeah, we would stand strong as one. The game has always been divide and conquer, Teach. It's always been that, and we keep going for it. Okie doke there, man. We gonna wake up. They done made woke into something bad. So sleep is good. Sleep is what you do when you leave this earthly vessel. You go sleep for a while. Oh, man. Hurting up here today, y'all, cause we lose Bishop Bronner, pillar of this community, leader of the First Order, community, social, spiritual, you name it. We lose Chuck, a warrior who was always in the gap. Always in the gap. Your gap, my gap, his gap, wherever there was a need. Bless you, Harmony. Always in the gap. Now he gone. And to add insult to injury, I had to go and pay last respects to Bernard Lynch. Advocate, activist, Marine Monica Lynch's son, who, as they say, was found unresponsive in his cell in Mid-State Correction Facility. the very same facility where they killed and tried to cover up the murder and lynching of Messiah Nantwi, which is across the street in the same location as Marcy Correctional Facility, where they murdered and lynched Robert Brooks. We're coming up on the anniversary, and there's a couple of things going on, and I'm trying to keep you abreast of it. And then we had Imam, civilian Imam, commit suicide in the superintendent's office at Marcy Correctional Facility. Same facility that murdered and lynched Robert Brooks, which is across the street from the same facility that murdered Messiah Nantwi, which is the same facility that's responsible for the death of Bernard Lynch. So we talking about people leaving, but while people are leaving, we got people now, our women, being brutalized and assaulted in these correctional facilities. There's a New York Times article out yesterday, get it. The New York Times, why have New York state prisons become so brutal and deadly? You go there for a sentence, and they got this tag like, oh, you come there for punishment, but not to be punished. But you don't get punished. You get tortured in solitary, then you get murdered or abused or some other, right? You know, people, you want to talk about that? Why? They try to murder me. Yeah, but for the grace of God, I would have been dead. So this is personal to me. It ain't just podcasting. Ain't just making noise. You see, I didn't have a video that they didn't know was recording. Matter of fact, if you check it out, Santiago versus Miles, federal supplement, federal case, they had a video. I requested them to videotape us surrendering to them. They said they got a video. They got the guy. I got him up on his thing. He video it. And then when they gave the order to attack us, he said the camera failed. He knocked out some hogwash, scuttlebutt, whatever you call it, dribble, whatever they could make up. So there was no recording of the brutal beating that me and my comrades suffered that day, that almost to the end of our lives in some cases, just like Messiah Nantwi. Like right now, my shoulder, irreparably damaged from being dragged with those cuffs, like they did Robert Brooks. So this is personal to me. Maybe nothing's personal to you. Maybe you got to live in your life in this hunky-dory. But this is personal to me. Personal to me, where I got a bishop who's willing to commit his time, resources, and energy, and pretty much his life to this struggle. Where I got brothers who, after doing decades in prison, come out and stand in the gap everywhere, all the time, and give their life. Got young men suffering with mental illness. And now, since they didn't criminalize mental illness, lock them up, don't give them treatment, therapy, or effective medications, and then find them unresponsive in their cells. Young man, young healthy man, mother out here fighting for him I done stood with her. Y'all done seen her on the shows with me and all this. Asking for people. This is a woman who's a veteran. We just celebrate Veterans Day, but you black and veterans, and you a veteran. You veteran. You never get any. This woman. I was talking about the prison. They just beat a young. Listen, it used to be primarily the men, but with the women with sexual assaults, and they still go on. So I don't, still go on. But now they're beating and breaking the arms of women in prison, beating them and breaking their arms for asking to have sanitary conditions for health and morale, if nothing else, and nothing. Yeah, the Black Glove Crew. That's what they call it. I've said this before. You probably wasn't watching because unlike. I didn't say the Black Glove Crew. I say in every facility, they got what they call a goon squad. They call them Black Glove here, whatever they call them there. But it's a goon squad, a bunch of goons who come around and inflict pain, abuse, torture, and sometimes death. Oftentimes these days, death. A goon squad. What do you need a goon squad for? Why are you goons? Wait, that's another story, another time. I want to send my condolences out. I haven't had the time to, even effectively mourn any of these situations, man. It's been one thing after another, spent the time with Bishop Bronner over the last couple of days, blessed to be able to do that. Being a bishop, you had to have 24-hour, round the clock. If you lie and repose, unlike elected who lie in state, if you lie and repose, you get around the clock. You have to have somebody there, and I was able to sit overnight in one of the shifts and really, man, soak up that energy, that wisdom, that presence. And I got hold on, we got a call here. Let me see if I can get this call. Hold on, I'm coming right to you. Cause there you go. Yeah, caller, how you doing? You're on the air. This is Jerome. All right, you on the Wright Report. Edutainment for the community. Who am I talking to?
My name is Donna Robinson.
Donna, yes. Yeah, how you doing, Donna?
I'm fair to Midland. I will not complain.
Right.
I'm here 10 toes down with you always and forever.
Amen.
I was listening to you tonight. Mm-hmm. My heart is full as well because I met Bishop T. Anthony Bronner when he was just a pastor over 40 years ago. I had moved to Buffalo, and he was the pastor at Calvary, and the man that I married, him and his family were members there. So, of course, I began to go to that church.
Right.
I love Bishop Bronner because he met you right where you were.
Amen.
Even though he had those titles and monikers, he could sit down with the least of us and make us feel like we were royalty. I especially appreciated everything that he has done for incarcerated individuals.
Yes.
Because maybe a lot of people out here don't know that I am an advocate in the community for prisoners' rights, and the lives of incarcerated people do matter. I've got skin in the game. I've had skin in the game since I was 5 years old, so I'm no stranger to incarceration. Some people think that I've been incarcerated, but I would never take that from a person that served time, because prison is hell and solitary is torture. And I've experienced a lot of ilk and bad things and harsh treatment in my life, but nothing in my life could compare to a prison sentence. My uncle's done time. My brothers have done time. My children have done time. My grandchildren have done time. And right now, I've got a daughter A daughter serving a sentence of 15 to life in Bedford Hills. She's been gone for 10 years, gone from her family, her children. She's got 5 grandchildren now. And in August, my mother passed away, praying and waiting for release. You know, we talk about men in prison, but what about her? I'm always going to stand up for the women, not just because I am one, but because to me it's unconscionable to take a woman out of the house and lock her up, take her away from her children. You know, I've always said in the 60s they came through, they locked up all the men and took them out the household and left us there to raise the children. Now they've come in and taken their mothers out. So who's raising our children?
No, that you got that right, and that's why I said that we need to stop acting like we don't know what's going on and step up, because it's gonna go on until we stop it. It ain't gonna go. It ain't gonna just. There's no expiration date on what they try to do, what they've been doing. As you can see, the games remain the same. They just changed the name. When we gonna change the game? And that's what we talking about now. And I know Donna and. I'm glad you called in, because I know that you know, your daughter's over there, and there's been some things going on in the women's facility that many people don't know. And because this is a patriarchal society by Eurocentric standards, because that's not what we come from. We had queens, and we had, you know, women ran our dynasties, and we respected them as such. But, you know, over here, everything is male dominated. I heard you talking about something that was going on over in women's prison, where they were starting to try to treat them like men, or you know, just it's hard to even talk about this stuff, thinking that it's got to be surreal to think that this is 2025 and we've actually gone backwards. It's just hard to think. I mean, that there's something that was going on. You said it with the women. You know, they took our women and they lock them up now at the rates of 7 to 10 times more than men for offenses that they know that they didn't commit, or that their complicity was minimal, if any, and they discombobulate those households with the children and the grandchildren and everything. And it perpetuates a situation that these systems are supposed to be eradicating. You know, you're supposed to be about bringing families together, getting people the treatment, the therapy, the education, the social, all the stuff that they may lack, or you say they lack, so that people can do better. You don't do that, but you have no problem just locking them up.
Locking them up and forgetting about them. When I go to Bedford Hills, which is in Westchester County, for those that don't know, that's one of the richest counties of the 62 counties in New York State. I see women there, my age, women there in their 80s, have been there so long, they have Alzheimer's. They don't even know what they did to get there, but they know that the people who are surrounded by them are their families. They take care of them. Some have been released, but have no family, no home, so they become residents. And to me, that's despicable, that you don't have anyone to come home to, and nobody to receive you after being gone for decades and decades and decades. You know, I'm a firm believer of that thing about 10,000 hours.
Mm-hmm.
You can master anything in 10,000 hours. You keep doing something over and over and over again. By your 10,000th time, you should have that down pat. If not, don't waste another hour. Go and do something else for yourself. David Sell's a prime example of a man who's been incarcerated now almost 30 years. He's right here in our backyard. He started an organization with 2 other brothers called change comes from within. And this organization was founded to stop our young men and young women from making the same mistakes that he did as a teenager.
Right.
Because no matter what you do and what you see on TV and what your friends might tell you, trust and believe that cesspool called prison, you're not really about that life for real, for real.
Right.
When somebody has to tell you when to get up, when to wash, when to eat, when to go to sleep, that's tantamount to slavery. Prison's a warehouse for slaves.
Yeah, people don't
Now
know.
they want to treat the women like they treat the men. How asinine is that? You're going to tell me, a woman, that every 28 days, up until they probably reach the age of 55 or 60, has a menstrual period every 28 days, unless you're pregnant. How are you going to tell me for 7 days, because some of them last 7 days, that I can only take a shower 3 times a week? I have to choose between washing my behind or cooking. You got a choice. You can come out your room to shower, or you can come out your room to cook. In between time, you're cooking a hot pot in your room, and we'll bring a bucket of water, which might not be hot all the time, for you to wash up in.
Yeah, I'm dumbfounded again. That my issue is that here we are, man. How we get here? How do we get here after all of this time, man? This is 2025, and we still here. We got mothers losing their only sons. We got mothers losing their kids because of what? Because they got mental illness. Give me information about the young woman. She asked about, Susan asked about, can we get information about the young woman whose arm was broken?
I have her information. Actually, she's from Buffalo, from my understanding. Her name is Ariana Favors. And from my understanding also, she has no family. Kelly Hartnett was formerly incarcerated at Bedford Hills. She was a jailhouse lawyer while she was there. Once she was released a couple years, maybe 3 years ago now, she's with the Brooklyn Defender. She got a hold of this story, and it went viral. So we have letters drafted that we're sending to the governor, to senators, assembly people, addressing this issue. This is a 26-year-old woman. I have grandchildren her age. I can't imagine. See, that's the thing. When they go to prison, they give them a sentence. If it says life on the end, that's an oxymoron to me, because some never come home. Like Bernard Lynch, Monica Lynch's son. Monica stood 10 toes down on the front lines with Chuck Cohane and I and others in front of that holding center for years, trying to get information about her own brother, Cornell Burrell, who was going into a diabetic coma, and they gave him a peanut butter sandwich with no jelly, which we called choke sandwiches growing up. You dare not serve me anything like that. That's what they gave him. And he choked to death and died. The family has been asking for information, some closure, but still, after all these years, haven't gotten anything. And now to add insult to injury, her son, who had so much trauma in his life, she loved her children. He was one of a set of twins. She sacrificed her life for her country, the love of her children. I've taken her to see Bernard when he was in Auburn.
Mm-hmm.
And what she experienced just to visit him that day would have sent a message to anybody else who wasn't as strong as, don't come back down here. But she never gave up. She fought even harder. In 2 months, he was supposed to come home in January.
This is what I'm talking about. This is you know what the sad thing is that people have to seem to wait till it's them or somebody they know or care about or themselves to get involved or to say anything, do anything. I know there's a lot of people out there who say, man, what can I do? I don't know what to do. I don't know who. We come on this air every Tuesday for the rest of this month. This is our Transformative Tuesdays at Wright Report. You got to call in. You can send your information in. You could reach out to. You got Donna Roberts. You got Jerome Wright. You got a bunch of people in this community who, if you wanted to, get information to us or to get involved with some of the things that's going on. And I'm just talking about this stuff that we're talking about. I'm talking about getting involved with something that's going to contribute to the well-being of the people. Don, I really appreciate you coming on and sharing. I know we didn't get to the full story about the young lady, and I do want people to understand how we got in this situation and about those lies I tell you, man, that keep us from that actually keep us from growing, man, and getting better at doing. Oh my God, what's going on here? My technical skills are a lot to be desired this moment right now. But you gotta understand. It is time now that we start waking up for some of this. Some of this stuff that we sitting around letting go on and at least come out. Like I said, we lost Chuck. We lost Chuck. He ain't gonna be there. Who gonna be there with us now? Who gonna stand in the gap? Are you prepared to stand in the gap? That's what I'm asking you. Are you prepared to stand in the gap? Because we need somebody in the gap now. We got all this stuff going on. They killing people. And then we got people that we losing who was there for us, for you, whether you know it or not. I don't know why I can't get into this thing. It was probably not meant for it to be done.
But before I hang up, I just want to let everyone know that I love Chuck Cohane. When I was the organizer for RAP, Release Aging People in Prison, Chuck came out for me every time I asked. I called him an icon.
Yes.
We used to joke about, we used to be together all the time. I was like, Chuck, you my boyfriend, because everywhere I go, you're here with me. There was times when it was freezing cold, blizzard, snow, downtown in front of that holding center, sick or well, happy, sad, heartbroken. Chuck was down there. I remember one night, he was down there by himself. I felt so bad. I went down there, and then it was just the two of us down there. But we had some amazing experiences on this journey.
Yeah.
He prayed for my daughter. He asked about my daughter. He kept up with all the prisoners who were on death row. Because he himself was on death row, but he came home. He never stopped fighting. He was a poet, a lover of cats, and just an all-around hell of a cool guy.
Yes, he was.
And we're going to celebrate him on December 7th from 1 to 3 at the Push headquarters at 429 Plymouth. Parking is limited, so if you can get a ride, Uber, what have you, come show up for Chuck because he always showed up for us. And he is resting with the ancestors. He's right there with H. Rap Brown,
right.
Bishop Browner, and Bernard Lynch in these past couple weeks.
Can you get that information
everyone.
again? Can you get that information again about his home, his memorial service, so people can attend again December 7th at what?
At the Push headquarters, 429 Plymouth Avenue.
429.
Buffalo, New York.
Okay. Thank you.
from 1 to 3. And if you're familiar with the Eugenia Theater building, it's all in that building. They have senior apartments. Chuck actually lived in that building.
Wow, I do remember. Yes.
I picked him up and dropped him off, and we used to have different services and programs there. He ran down on Sean Bryan one night. I couldn't have been more proud of Chuck when we went out. So please, if you can show up, show up. If you can't, just send up prayers that he is resting in power.
We believe it. We know
what
that
people
is
don't
true.
talk about enough?
Listen to this,
How
yo.
colonization wasn't just about stealing land. It was about hijacking the mind. They didn't just conquer people, they rewired them. That's the real psychological warfare. Convincing the oppressed that their suffering was order, that obedience was holy, and that freedom was chaos. They used everything, religion, education, even language, to reprogram people's sense of self. They told colonized nations that their gods were devils, their languages were primitive, and their traditions were backwards. And once you believe that, they don't have to chain you. You'll just police yourself. They created the civilized versus savage binary so deep in the global psyche that even after independence, people still chase Western approval. That's the genius of colonial psychology. It doesn't end when the flag comes down. It ends when the mirror changes. Religion was the most effective form of control, though, right? They didn't just introduce Christianity, they redefined it. They replaced the liberating parts with obedience and called submission divine order. They turned the same book that said, "Let my people go," into a handbook for staying in line. They said, "Blessed are the meek," all while enslaving the meek. They said, "Obey your masters," all while being the masters. That's not faith. That's psychological warfare dressed up as morality. And then came the schools, where they taught colonized children that Europe discovered everything, invented everything, and is everything. They erased Native history, rewrote resistance as rebellion, and called genocide progress. They didn't have to burn every village. They just had to teach the children to see themselves as less. And when those same children grew up and started leading, they were already half colonized in the mind. That's how you keep control. You don't need armies when you've already conquered identity. Now they call it globalization. They call it humanitarian aid. They call it free market. But it's the same game, it's just different packaging. Debt traps, development loans, sanctions, media. They don't have to occupy you anymore. They just have to convince you that you're free while they hold the receipts. Fenyon warned us about this. Not because he was violent, because he understood the violence of being told your only value is in proximity to whiteness. Colonialism didn't disappear, it just rebranded. They don't need whips when they have Wi-Fi. They don't need chains when they control what you see, what you learn, what you dream of becoming. That's the war nobody sees. The one that makes oppression look like order. Because once the mind believes the master is moral, the body doesn't even try to run. Fucking hell.
Y'all need to know, man, what we said. Before we can be set free, we got to unhinge ourselves from the lies that keep us hostage. In the next couple of days, 2 days to be exact, they'll be talking about Thanksgiving. But they won't tell you the true story of Thanksgiving, that wasn't the family-friendly holiday that depicted with pilgrims and Native Americans, who they call Indians by mistake anyway, all sitting around the table eating some duck and some chicken and some turkey and kumbaya moment. No, it was part of the genocide. It was part of the eradication of an entire indigenous nation. It was a part of the continued subjugation of an indigenous nation on top of the racialized slavery of another indigenous people, the first indigenous people, and this is psychological warfare now. This is not about guns. This is not about resistance in the street throwing bottles. This is about getting our minds together, getting on one accord and recognizing that being woke ain't a joke. Being awoke is what you're supposed to be so that you ain't walking around half asleep. You can't act like you don't see what's going on. unless you are delusional. We at war. Psychological warfare, and we still holding on to these falsehoods, half-truths, and straight-up lies. We lost some giants who helped me to understand that you can only dispel the lies with the truth, and that means standing up for it when it's unpopular, because many times we wanted to bring something to Elam, and, other people weren't happy about it, they worried about it, and Bishop Bronner said, that's what we're about. We're a place of refreshing for everybody, incarcerated individuals, their families, anybody in this community. Chuck stood in the gap all the time because he understood that somebody's got to do it, and if not him, who? And if not then, when? So he stood there. What are we doing? What are we doing? I'm here. I see a few people online. We all rock together. But I don't see the movement that we said we need and that we were going to commit to. Many of you said you're tired of what's going on. You ready to see something different. Yet you do the same old things and let the same old things be done to you. That's not different. That's the same old thing. You know what? Maybe I can hit you with this quote that might help you think about this thing a little differently. Because we're about to slide. It says, live as if you were to die tomorrow. Learn as if you were to live forever. Start living. Keep learning. And let's make this thing happen. We got a movement to start. We got people to free. December 1st, all over the state, People's Campaign for Parole Justice, RAP, having statewide rallies. It's time to stop our elders from becoming ancestors. This is the Wright Report. Edutainment for the community. I love you. Time for us to love each other. See you next week, God willing.